Listen closely. This is how understanding begins.
It's 7 a.m. The alarm rings and you hit the snooze button. Just 5 more minutes. 9 minutes later, you hit it again. We tell ourselves it's about being tired, but it's not. It's our first negotiation of the day with a monster. It's the monster of, "I'll do it later." Later in the day, that same monster reappears. It tells you that the report for work is too complex to start right now, that the pile of laundry has grown into a mountain too tall to climb today, that you simply don't have the energy, the focus, or the motivation to go to the gym. This monster is the single greatest thief of our dreams, our potential, and our peace of mind. It is an invisible force that feeds on our ambitions and leaves behind a trail of anxiety, regret, and a quiet, gnawing feeling of being stuck. We often mistake its work for our own personality. We create stories to explain our struggles. We say, "I'm just an anxious person," or "I've always been a procrastinator," or "I'm just not good at trusting people." We spend years, sometimes a lifetime, trying to renovate the rooms of our house, our careers, our habits, our health without ever realizing that the foundation itself is cracked. We treat the symptoms, but we never diagnose the root cause. The truth is, many of our most persistent and painful struggles as adults are not new problems. They are echoes. They are the ghosts of a past we have survived but have not yet understood. This isn't a story about blame. It's a story about understanding. It's a journey to the very foundation of who we are, to a time when our brains were being wired, our beliefs about the world were being formed, and our sense of self was being written. We are going back to childhood, and we are going to learn how to read the blueprint that has been silently guiding our entire lives, so that we can finally begin to redraw it. A child's mind is like wet cement. The impressions made upon it can harden and last a lifetime. And while we often think of trauma in terms of overt, catastrophic events, the science is clear that some of the deepest and most enduring cracks are formed by the slow, steady drip of words. Words from the very people we are biologically programmed to trust and depend on the most, our parents. In a 2008 report, the US Department of Health and Human Services officially counted over 50,000 children as victims of emotional abuse. But the unofficial number is immeasurably higher, because these words often fly under the radar, dismissed as harmless discipline or simple frustration. Consider the language of appearance. A parent, perhaps frustrated or unthinking, says, "You're ugly, too fat, or too skinny." Or maybe it's a more subtle comparison. "Why can't you have nice hair like your cousin?" To the adult, it might be a fleeting comment, forgotten in an instant. To the child, it's a verdict. It's a piece of data that gets logged into the core of their identity. The internal monologue begins. "There is something fundamentally wrong with how I look." This becomes the seed of a lifelong battle with body image, of deep insecurities that follow them into every job interview, every romantic relationship, and every mirror they pass as an adult. Then there's the language of being. Sarcastic remarks like, "Why do you act so weird?" or "Why do you walk that way, chew that way, talk that way?" These aren't really questions. They are accusations disguised as questions. The child, who trusts their parents as the ultimate source of truth, learns a devastating lesson. The way I naturally exist in the world is wrong. It is strange. It is unlovable. As an adult, this can manifest as crippling social anxiety. They become trapped by a constant, low-grade fear that their natural mannerisms are being judged. This leads to masking, the exhausting, lifelong performance of trying to be someone else just to feel accepted. Perhaps the most damaging of all is the language of existence itself. Words spoken in anger, like, "I wish you were never born," or "I regret having you." These are not just insults. They are a fundamental rejection of the child's right to exist. They diminish their entire sense of identity. A child who hears this internalizes a terrifying belief: I am a mistake. My existence is a burden on the people I love. I don't deserve to be here. This can lead to a profound sense of worthlessness, a deep, soul-level wound that can manifest as self-harm, chronic depression, and a lifelong feeling of being an outsider in their own life. Even seemingly less severe statements can cause profound harm, making a child feel like a financial burden, with phrases like, "You cost me too much money," teaches a child to suppress their own needs. They learn that their feelings, their problems, and their very desires are an inconvenience. As adults, these are the people who never ask for help. They are the ones who suffer in silence, believing that to express a need is to be a burden on others. And then there are the empty promises. The parent who says, "If you do this, I'll buy you that," and then never does. It might seem small, but to a child, it's a lesson in trust. When a parent consistently breaks their word, they are teaching their child that the world is an unreliable place, and that the people who are supposed to love you the most will ultimately let you down. This forms the blueprint for insecure attachments and an inability to trust future relationships. This is the steady, quiet work that creates the cracks in our foundation. It's the origin story of the adult who can't accept a compliment, the partner who is terrified of abandonment, and the professional who is always waiting for the other shoe to drop. For a long time, these emotional wounds were seen as just that, emotional. Difficult, certainly, but separate from the concrete world of physical health and medicine. But in the mid-1990s, a groundbreaking study by Dr. Vince Felitti at Kaiser Permanente and Dr. Bob Ander at the CDC changed everything. It's now known as the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, or ACEs. It is one of the most important public health studies of our time. Researchers asked 17,500 adults a series of 10 questions about their childhoods. They asked about different forms of abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction, things like growing up with a parent who struggled with mental illness or substance dependence, or witnessing domestic violence. For every yes, the person got 1 point on their ACE score, from 0 to 10. Then, they correlated these scores with the participants' long-term health outcomes. What they found was staggering. First, they found that ACEs are incredibly common. Over 2/3 of the population, most of whom were Caucasian and college-educated, had at least one. 1 in 8 had a score of 4 or more. This isn't a problem for a select few. This is an all-of-us problem. But the second finding was the bombshell. There was a direct dose-response relationship between your ACE score and your physical health. The higher your score, the worse your health outcomes. A person with an ACE score of 4 or more has double the lifetime risk of heart disease, the #1 killer in America. They have doubled the risk of cancer and triple the risk of chronic lung disease. For an ACE score of 6 or more, the study found a 20-year difference in life expectancy. Let that sink in. The things that happen to you in childhood don't just stay in your memories. They get under your skin. They become a part of your biology. How is this possible? Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, a physician who has pioneered the treatment of toxic stress, explains it perfectly. Imagine you're walking in the forest and you see a bear. Your body's stress response, your fight or flight system, kicks into high gear. Your brain sends a signal to your adrenal glands to release stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart pounds, your pupils dilate, you are ready to fight or run. This is a brilliant, life-saving system. But what happens when the bear comes home every night? What happens when the source of stress is not a wild animal, but the very environment you live in? That system never shuts off. It goes from being life-saving to health-damaging. This chronic activation, known as toxic stress, has devastating effects on a developing child. It affects the nucleus accumbens, the pleasure and reward center of the brain, making a person more susceptible to addiction. It inhibits the prefrontal cortex, which is critical for impulse control and learning, and it dysregulates the immune system, leading to chronic inflammation, which is a known driver of heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune diseases. Childhood trauma doesn't just create emotional scars, it creates physiological ones. The science gives us the what, but to truly heal, we need to understand the why. Why do these experiences wound us so deeply on a soul level? The brilliant physician and author Dr. Gabor Mate suggests it comes down to a tragic, unconscious conflict between two of our most fundamental human needs: the need for attachment and the need for authenticity. Attachment is our biological drive to be in close proximity with another human being for the sake of being cared for. For a human infant, the most helpless and dependent creature in the universe, attachment is not a preference. It is a non-negotiable requirement for survival. If we are not attached to a caregiver, we die. It is that simple. This need is hardwired into our very DNA. Authenticity is the quality of being true to your real self. It's knowing what you feel, your gut feelings, your emotions, and being able to honor and act on them. This is also a survival need. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ability to trust our gut feelings was the primary tool that kept our ancestors alive in the wild. But what happens when your authenticity threatens your attachment? This is the central tragedy of a difficult childhood. Imagine you're 2 years old and you get angry because you can't have a cookie. Your anger is an authentic, natural emotion. But your parents can't handle anger. Perhaps they grew up in a home where anger was violent and dangerous, so they punish you, or they give you the silent treatment, withdrawing their love and affection. The message you receive is crystal clear. Angry little kids don't get loved. As a child, you are faced with an impossible, unconscious choice. Be authentic and express your anger, and risk losing the attachment you desperately need to survive. Or suppress your authentic feelings in order to preserve that vital attachment. What does every child do? They choose attachment. Every single time. In that moment, a disconnection happens. It's a psychic split. As a survival strategy, we learn to suppress our emotions. We learn to ignore our gut feelings. We learn to sever the connection with our authentic selves. It's like we have to amputate a part of our own soul in order to be accepted. And this is the core of trauma. Trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside of you as a result of those events. And what happens inside is that you disconnect from yourself. We then carry this disconnection into adulthood. We wonder who we really are. We feel a sense of emptiness, a lack of direction. We engage in behaviors addictions, workaholism, people-pleasing that are all desperate, unconscious attempts to soothe the pain of that original disconnection. The addiction is not the primary problem. It is an attempt to solve the much deeper problem of a lost self. This internal disconnection, this loss of self, doesn't look the same for everyone. To survive, we adopt specific coping mechanisms, powerful, unconscious strategies that become so ingrained they form the very core of our personality. Therapist and author Pete Walker identifies 4 primary trauma responses, often called the 4 Fs: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. While we may use all of them, most of us develop a dominant go-to strategy. Recognizing your own archetype is a crucial step in understanding your blueprint. The fight type learns that the only way to be safe is to be in control. They respond to a perceived threat with anger and aggression. As children, they may have been defiant or had temper tantrums. As adults, they can be controlling, demanding, and have a deep-seated need to win every argument. They believe that power and control will protect them from being hurt again. Their inner critic tells them that vulnerability is weakness. The flight type learns that safety lies in escape. They are often restless, hyperactive, and constantly busy. As children, they might have been the overachievers, the perfectionists, the ones who poured all their energy into school or sports. As adults, they are the workaholics, the obsessive planners, the ones who are terrified of sitting still because when they stop moving, the painful feelings start to catch up. Their inner critic tells them that if they just achieve enough, they will finally be worthy of love. The freeze type learns that the safest strategy is to become invisible. They disassociate from their feelings and their bodies. As children, they were often the quiet daydreamers, spending hours lost in books or their own imagination. As adults, they struggle with procrastination, indecision, and a feeling of being stuck or dissociated from their own lives. They often feel like they are watching their life from the outside, a spectator rather than a participant. Their inner critic tells them that it's safer to not even try. Finally, there is the fawn type. This is the archetype of the people pleaser. They learn that the way to be safe is to make everyone around them happy, to merge with the needs and desires of others. As children, they were the good, helpful, parent-pleasing kids who never caused any trouble. As adults, they have a very hard time saying no. They have weak boundaries, often end up in codependent relationships, and lose themselves in service to others because they believe their own needs are not important. Their inner critic tells them that they are only valuable if they are useful to someone else. These are not just personality quirks. These are brilliant, sophisticated survival strategies that our younger selves created to endure an unsafe world. The problem is that these strategies, which once kept us safe, now keep us small. This knowledge can feel heavy. It can feel like a life sentence written long ago. But it is the opposite. It is a map. It shows us where the wounds are, and for the first time, it points us toward the path of healing. As Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris says, this is treatable. This is beatable. The healing journey is not about blaming the past or erasing it. It is about reconnection. It is the art of slowly, patiently, and compassionately re-establishing the connection to the authentic self you were forced to abandon in order to survive. This journey often begins with a practice Dr. Gabor Mate calls compassionate inquiry. It is the antidote to a lifetime of self-judgment. Instead of asking what's wrong with me, when we act out in a way we don't like, we learn to get curious and ask, what is this behavior trying to do for me? What pain is it trying to soothe? From there, the work involves learning how to reparent ourselves. It means giving your adult self the safety, validation, and unconditional love that your inner child never received. It means celebrating small victories and being kind to yourself when you stumble. Crucially, it involves reconnecting with the body. Since trauma is a disconnection from ourselves, and we live in our bodies, healing must involve a return to our physical selves. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, or even simple breathing exercises can help us get out of the endless chatter of our minds and back into the present moment, where true healing occurs. This is not a quick fix. It is the courageous, lifelong work of reclaiming the parts of ourselves we left behind, the longest journeys of our lives, and the most daunting tasks we face. All begin in the exact same way, with a single, small step. The journey of reconnection begins not with an action, but with a moment of awareness, a moment of looking at a current struggle in your life and gently asking a new question, not "what is wrong with me?" but "what happened to me?" That simple shift in perspective is the start of a profound transformation. It is the beginning of the art of your ascent. If this exploration has resonated with you, I invite you to share one insight in the comments below and consider subscribing to continue this journey of understanding with us.